NHL Nightly with your host, the sportsman, a.k.a. Peter Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Perlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barry.
What's up, everybody? No Perlo, no Rico, but we're going to press on. Hope everybody's having a great Monday, had a great weekend. It was a nice, relaxing weekend. Chilling out. Still winter. So, lots of stuff to talk about today, huh? Lots of stuff to talk about today. Let me share the stream for today, and we will get right into it. It's a little tougher when I'm by myself. Oh, here we go. Here's the. Hey, what's up, buddy? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Huh?
Well, good, man. Where's Perlo?
I don't know. I've started the stream already, though. So
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna try to start at 10 Eastern every time, on time. So if you guys are a little late, no worries. It's not a big deal. Okay. Well, I'm going to share the stream. So while I do that, why don't you tell me your thoughts, Toronto Maple Leafs fan, about the Willy Nylander deal and your feelings about it?
Well, first of all, it's nice to see a player sign the max as well. You know, Matthews didn't take that 8-year deal, so it's nice to see Willy start and end his career as a Leaf. I mean, there's a nice history.
Real quick, I want to comment. I don't think that Matthews wants to leave Toronto. I think he knows the cap is going to go up so much more that he can get a higher percentage of the cap, and that's why he did the 4-year deal. Nothing against Willy Nylander, but I think Matthews is only going to get better. I mean, we haven't even seen this guy's ceiling yet, in my opinion. He's not going to regress in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, continue your thoughts. I apologize. I just
no worries.
I do think, as a guy, I know there's a lot of rumors about Matthews going somewhere. I really, truly do think that he, also make sure the Leafs are contenders. But I really do think that he is going to be a Leaf for life. No doubt about it. He's going to be the GOAT, the gopher, whatever Biz calls him, the greatest Leaf of all time, the GOAT or whatever he calls him.
For sure, but he's just going to handcuff the Leafs by making more money down the road, just like he did now and just like Marner did. At least we got some stability at Nylander, signing to a number that we can work with for the next 8 years. I mean, in long term, the guy's been money in the playoffs for us too. So, I mean, when Marner comes up, I don't know is Marner going to start playing a little harder now and turn into himself how he was before he signed that 10-year deal too? So, of course, he's next. You got half of the Leafs fans saying, okay, it's not going to work. So Marner's going to have to go because it's Austin and Nylander's team now. So that's going to be pretty interesting with what they do with him. But I mean, if you're looking at teams closest to us, so like in our fan base, you got the Ottawa Senators and Montreal Canadiens. I mean, if some people think Willy's an overpay, I mean, I'd rather have him than Josh Anderson and Gallagher making $12 million for the next 3 years, or Ottawa fans paying Giroux and Norris $14 million. So
yeah, I do not think it's an overpay. I think he easily would have got $13 million on the open market if he would have went as a free agency. I think someone like Chicago, somebody with cap space, would have paid him easily $13 million. And people forget it's 55% tax rate on Ontario. So he's making what, 8 something really in reality? I mean,
yeah, Tkachuk's making more at 9.5 than he is actually take home. Matthew Tkachuk's taking home more than he does, and he's making $2 million less. Yeah, so, I mean, I love it, man. He's going to be here his whole career. And there's a thing with the Swedes in Toronto as well. You had Borje Salming, and now you had Matt Sundin, and now you have Nylander. So I think it's kind of cool that he upped for the long term. But one thing I was thinking too right away, I'm like, okay, so who's next? You got Pettersson, you got Gensel. Gensel's almost got the exact same numbers as Nylander has too. So I wonder what he's going to get next year.
The rumor mill is they will be asking for, and if Pittsburgh is out of it, that they may look to move Jake Gensel. Problem is, if they have a game like tonight where they get 5 power plays in the first handed to them and they win the game 4-1 against the Flyers, right now Pittsburgh is, I think they're on the outside looking in. Are they not? I don't know where they are. They're there. They're close. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I definitely think he set the market for everyone else. Let me look real quick here, and we'll see what we got with the wild card. I think. I mean, there's a lot of teams haven't played the same amount of games, so I want to see where Pittsburgh is. Yeah, right now they are not in a playoff spot. So it'll be interesting to see how that market is set. Perlo, welcome in. We're just talking Willy Nylander deal and how it may have set the market for all these other free agents and stuff. I don't hate the deal for Toronto by any stretch of the imagination.
Nylander had all the leverage, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, but I just don't think it's a terrible deal. I think the next year it's going to be a crunch for the Leafs with Tavares at $11 million. But after that, when Tavares' deal is up, and we'll see what happens with the Mitch Marner thing. I do think at some point they're going to want to move someone, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. National championship going on. I know we're not going to get a ton of viewers tonight. It is 13-20. Michigan is up. Washington has the ball though, so they are moving on they are on the 30. So we'll see if Washington can do something here. They've kind of been shooting themselves in the foot. By the way, since we've been alive, Tyler Seguin made it 2-0 for the Minnesota for the artist formerly known as the Minnesota North Stars, the Dallas Stars against the Wild. It's now 2-0. So I'm really worried about the Wild. I think their chances are
I took a live bet on the Wild, and I guess I'm not getting it, but that's all right. I
saw. I retweeted it for you. I did. I saw. And we got a great game. It's at intermission. Another great game. Boston at Colorado. That's a game I wouldn't skip. So good times. I like the deal for Toronto. I thought he would get 13 on the open market easily. 12, anywhere from 12 to 13, I thought he could get. I think it's great that he stayed there. The only thing I would say, and I agree with this with Hot Take Hockey, said it a little bit too in his video, you could check it out, is probably don't like the no trade, no move clause for the entirety of the deal. Would be really good with it if it was the first 5 or the first 4. That's probably my only criticism of it. I think that you got to, but look, if that was like a sticking point for them, it's like, okay, it's not like they can't ask him to move it at the end if they need him to, and then by then it may not make a difference. The thing I'll say too is Nylander's a great skater. I don't see that going away, and he's only going to be 35 when this deal is over. So it's not like he's going to be, I like this deal much more than the Huberdeau-Gaudreau deal.
Wait a second. I didn't hear this. He only got a no trade clause for the first 5 years?
No, the entirety of the deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. Okay. I thought
Rick says, here's Rick. Rick says, I don't understand how Leafs can't get hometown discount players. Rick, there's no such thing in the NHL anymore. These players are embarrassed to there are Major League Baseball middle relievers getting $15 million a year right now.
Pasternak took a hometown discount, and like you said, Nylander on the open
market. He took market.
Pasternak on the open market would have got way more. Nylander on the open market would have got way more. So
I agree.
He did take a hometown discount.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yep, I agree with all that what you said. I agree with everything you said.
So he did take a hometown discount.
Yep, I think you're right. What are your thoughts, Perlo, on the deal, the Willy Nylander deal, and then we'll move to the next.
You got to do it. What are you gonna do? The guy's a 100-point player. Now, you put him on the open market and you let people.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Perlo. Rick, Nylander's only making $250K more than Pasta, and Pasta signed his deal last year.
Last year.
The cap is going up $4.5 million. I guarantee you, if Pasta would sign his deal this year, he'd be making more money, my man.
Yeah,
that's just the
like,
way it is.
Forget about how fast things go here.
Yeah,
I've heard people say things like, "Well, McDavid makes this much. He signed that how many years ago? Like,
only allowed to make 20% of the cap per the CBA. So McDavid made like 19.5 per the cap.
Yeah, when he signed it.
He signed almost the biggest deal you could sign. He didn't take a hometown discount. McDavid's not from Edmonton either. So I feel like a hometown discount is from somebody there.
But what I don't think people understand is if you let a guy like Nylander go in the open market for anybody to sign, somebody's signing him for $13 million. Almost for sure somebody's signing him for $13 million. If he can just go anywhere. So he took a hometown discount. He could have went anywhere, and he didn't.
And the Leafs are lucky they got this wrapped up because they didn't want to wait till the end of the season. And plus, they tried signing him at like 9.5 tops. Like Nylander bet on himself. Good for him, man, to play out.
He took a discount on his last deal, by the way, too. In my opinion,
sure, 6.9, absolutely.
Yeah, and let me say this. So he was on Real Kipper and Born today, and he said something very alarming. And I loved what he said. He said, I was very happy this was much quicker than the last time. Because remember, the last time the deal drug out big time to get the 6'9", Dubas drug him out. It took forever. They got him at the last minute. And, when you come into camp late, I think it affects you too. And it makes we're seeing it with Zegras. He's finally starting to play some good hockey. He had a great goal last night on a deflection for Anaheim. So that leads me into the next thing we're going to talk about. Cutter Gauthier is traded, a 2022 draft pick, first-round draft pick, is traded to the Anaheim Ducks, Philadelphia Flyers pick. He was a 5th overall pick in 2022. We're already in 2024, guys. Traded to the Anaheim Ducks for Jamie Drysdale and a 2nd-round pick. I'll say this. I like this deal for both teams. I don't think this is a bad move. Anaheim is further behind on their rebuild than Flyers are, I believe. They'll probably both be good around the same time in the next 3 seasons or so. Drysdale is 21 years old, which we talk about defensemen all the time. He probably is sad to be leaving Southern California for Pennsylvania, but he is exactly what Philly needs in a right shot D, and he's an offensive defenseman that doesn't play defense great. He's going to learn how to play defense as good as you can play it with the way they coach there in Philly. And I hope his career jumps off from there. His big problem is he's been injured. I wouldn't even say people have said he's played poorly, but in Anaheim's perspective, you get a guy Gauthier. And I'll read what Stephen Ellis wrote in his article, which I will put the link in the chat for you guys. He talks about every prospect. And if you're not following Stephen Ellis from Daily Faceoff, follow him. And his Twitter tag will be in here. I'm dropping the link to the article in the chat just so you guys can reference it if you want, because they talk about every team. He says Cutter Gauthier played at MVP level in all tournament long. This is talking about the World Jump. In the summer, the Flyers prospect put his goal-scoring prowess on display. This time, nobody was better playmaker, whether it be dominance on the power play or the ability to get creative with the setups. Gauthier played as strong in the tournament as I've seen from him. He's ready for NHL duty next year. That is from Stephen Ellis. Stephen Ellis does more prospect watching than anybody I know. He is awesome. Shout out to our guy Ray Bro. He's a great guy too. This guy does this for a living. He's so good. I don't know that there's anybody that watches more tape on him. And then I watched Daniel Briere come out and talk for the Flyers, and I was going to play that video, but it's kind of long. And then tonight the Flyers were playing the Penguins. It was on NHL Network nationally, but locally in Philly, Jim Johnson and Brian Boucher had Keith Jones on, the president of, and Keith basically said that Cutter Gauthier did not want to be a Flyer, and we don't want people that don't want to be a Flyer. I totally agree with it. I think it was a great move. I have one more thing before I'll let you guys talk about it. Frank Saravelli and I'll put this up on the post. Frank Saravelli had a little bit of insight. If you don't know Frank Saravelli, he's one of the best insiders in the NHL. He is also a Philly guy. He had this. Let me see if I can zoom in. Come on, man. Zoom. You gonna let me zoom? Anyway, hopefully you can read that. It says Flyers engaged upwards of 18 to 20 teams that Cutter Gauthier was signed with over the last weeks. So he wasn't being picky about where he would go. GM Briere and President Keith Jones both traveled to Sweden to Gauthier at the World Juniors to try to attempt to get everything back on the rails before pulling the trigger today. And one final note before I make way for you guys. Bob Murray is if you don't know who Bob Murray is, he's the former GM of the Anaheim Ducks, and he drafted Drysdale. Thank you, Rick, for the score update. The Avs scored. They're up 2-1. He drafted Drysdale, and he advised them on this, and I think that was a move they felt like. And look, hey, they get a top 5 pick back in Drysdale, and they get a second rounder for Anaheim for this next year's draft, which is going to be a very high pick. Anaheim is near the bottom of the NHL. They're going to be a top 5 lottery team this year easily. So their second rounder is going to be pretty valuable. Right now, the only teams that have worse records than Anaheim are Chicago, St. Louis. Ottawa has 28 points to Anaheim's 27. So right there, those are your top 5. So anyway, I just thought that was great. I had a lot of notes on that. Again, check out the link for Steven Ellis's thing. Go ahead, Rico. What are your thoughts?
It's just weird that Philly, I guess Briere said he knew since May, and they've been trying to hide it. I guess he said not to keep it from our fans or anything. I guess they were just waiting to see if he changed his mind, but I guess this kid had already changed his mind. I wonder what makes somebody all of a sudden not want to be a Flyer. Is it John?
I have another caveat to it. And I'm sorry I can't remember the podcast. They had Gauthier on, and apparently he was very close with Perlo's favorite hockey player of all time. Another former Boston College guy, because that's where Gauthier goes. Kevin Hayes. And he golfed with him, and I think Kevin Hayes maybe was like, it might not be for you. And that's
all I need to hear. Then Gauthier is going to be shit for the rest of his career.
Well, and also let's say this: when Gauthier was interviewed at the draft, he did say he grew up a Pittsburgh Penguins fan and that Crosby was his idol, and he shot at the dryer, and he loves Crosby for his work game. Hard to be a big time Crosby fan and play for the Flyers. So I totally understand that too, because that's like a pretty good rivalry.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. Gauthier has not improved his skating from the time he got drafted. He has not improved his skating since the time he got drafted.
I could not find a single analyst to support what you're saying.
Well, I don't care. I'm watching him. He hasn't improved his skating. He's a great shooter, amazing shooter.
Pretty good passer, according to Steven Ellis, who watched every second of the World Juniors.
We'll watch. Okay, remember I said this. He hasn't improved his skating since he got there. Just so happens Kevin Hayes' biggest problem, skating. It takes hard work to become a good skater, a really hard work. You got to.
Well, I have this to say. If he thinks he's not going to work under Cronin, Mick Cronin at Anaheim, that's not the case. I don't know if it was a Tortorella thing, man. I don't want to say it is or not.
Well, if it is, then good. You're probably done too. Seriously.
Or
if you
how about you just play
How
about you just play for your team that drafted you? And you know what? When you have a chance and you have an opportunity to go somewhere else and you play your way out of there, I mean.
Yeah, but look.
It's the NHL, man. People could only dream of being in the NHL.
So, but Rico,
Cronin is a player's coach, and it's working out really well in Anaheim right now. So, yeah.
Well, they've had not the case. He's a development guy. He's hard on him. And the other thing is, they've been decimated with injuries this year. They started off gangbusters. They were actually beating good teams, and then they started to.
We'll see what they turn into.
Well, Gauthier isn't going to play this year at all anyway.
The only thing that it would make sense to me is if he wanted to play in a Sunshine State or something like that.
Yeah.
But if he's leaving there because he's friends of Hayes and Tortorella, he was telling them at Tortorella.
Well, no, but Kevin Hayes, okay, look, in fairness to Kevin Hayes, I know you don't like him, but the dude has played for a bunch of different organizations. And I heard him saying nothing but praises about the New York Rangers. And sometimes players are in a good org. By the way, it's 3-0 Dallas. It would be, it's one of those things where it's like, sometimes like, hey, this is a good place to play. And I just wonder if Kevin Hayes didn't have a good opinion of his time with the Flyers. Now, remember too, Kevin Hayes was with the Flyers a couple of years before Tortorella was there. He could have just said, if I had to do it all over again, I probably wouldn't have signed with the Flyers. So I don't know what he said to Gauthier, and I don't want to disperse. Kevin
Tortorella
Hayes
said when he first came into the room, he said, "This is a bad room. It's a really bad room," and that's documented. It's a really bad
I know.
room.
And then
however,
the Flyers are playing great this year.
Wait a second.
They've gotten better addition by subtraction without Kevin Hayes. I agree with that.
Hayes was a huge Philadelphia fan until Tortorella got there. Tortorella comes in and says it's a bad room, and all of a sudden Hayes is no good anymore. And now he's going to be the influence on Gauthier.
I'm not saying he's the influencer. I'm just saying, the kid went golf.
I sure hope not.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
You brought it up that he was friends with Hayes. So if Hayes is an influence in this decision, I feel sorry for Gauthier. I really do. I know it's
Rick wants to put out a PSA for everybody. He says, I got NHL Center Ice free for a month from Bell watching.
Oh, nice.
Okay, just to let everybody know. Thanks, Rick. That's awesome. Rico, go ahead and finish your thoughts on the trade. Sorry.
No, I kind of like it for both teams. Obviously, Philly's going to try to make a playoff push, and if they could keep Drysdale healthy, he's a right-handed shot. Somebody could play on that side with Sanheim playing the left side there. So, if he stays healthy, I think it's a good move for Philly to do it nice and early. And man, I mean, it's all about timing, I guess, since Briere's been sitting on this player to be dealt somewhere to some team somewhere. So he's obviously communicated with a few teams, found this was probably the best fit for Philly, and I hope Drysdale stays healthy, man, because he's an exciting player. So I think both teams potentially won. I don't know a ton about Gauthier because I don't watch a ton of American hockey in that college ranks. So
right,
I mean, from what I seen in that World Junior Tournament, I mean, the U.S. was stacked. So I mean, everybody stood out on that team, probably about 3/4 of them. So I mean, that's a good hockey trade, man. I hope the best for both players, and whoever ends up being that pick might be a nice little cherry on top too.
Yeah, the book is out on.
Gauthier reminds me of a guy that you're well aware of, in Dylan Strome, and it took him a lot of years before he started working on his skating, and now he's doing really well. So maybe Gauthier wakes up and realizes he's got to skate, because. Remember when Dylan Strome was drafted, he was drafted 3rd overall. He went to Arizona. He didn't work on his skating there. He went to Chicago. He didn't really get much faster there. And then went to Washington and something clicked. And now the kid's a damn good player. That's what I think Gauthier will be until he gets it in his head that you're not going to be able to play in the NHL, because Dylan Strome was more talented than Gauthier in his draft year. But he couldn't skate. And until he got it in his head that he needs to learn how to skate,
4-0 Dallas.
He didn't go anywhere. Wow. So I think Gauthier could be great, but he's got to focus on his skating, man. He's got to.
So now,
Dylan Strome playing with McDavid too in Erie for the Otters? Wasn't that the Strome brother that played with McDavid?
Yeah, he was playing with McDavid.
And Connor Brown.
Yeah.
So here's what I love from Philly's perspective on Drysdale. Drysdale is a good skater, and sounds like a pretty good person. Not surprising, kid from Ontario, probably raised pretty good. And right now, in Philly's perspective, you have Nick Seeler and Sean Walker both on expiring deals. So that works out. They're going to probably move or trade those guys at the deadline. They could add if they're making the playoffs, but they did do an ad here, and here's a guy who doesn't even have to play on the NHL squad this year. And I don't know if Drysdale is healthy right now either. He's only played 10 games this year, so I didn't know if he was back in the lineup. Again, Anaheim very much decimated by injury. And then from Anaheim's perspective, to have Mintyukov and Zellweger in your thing anyway, I feel like Drysdale was kind of a guy they could afford to trade. I also think they should look at trading Cam Fowler, who's a hell of a player that I'd love to see on a Stanley Cup team and really could be a top. Toronto, I'd love to see him on Toronto, but I think he makes too much money. Anyway, yeah, we'll see. I mean, only time will tell with these deals. They could blow up in both players. Very rarely do you see players this young get traded for each other, though. That's what was amazing. And on the same day, we had the Willy Nylander news break, so I thought it was pretty crazy. Perlo, go ahead and just say your final thoughts on the trade, and then I wanted to talk a little bit about MAF, and then we'll start previewing the games tomorrow.
Well, there is something interesting there. Drysdale has been pretty injury prone. Anaheim really actually doesn't really need forwards, although Gauthier is a bigger guy, and they do have they do have a problem with size up front. However, it is interesting that Drysdale was the one to go back in that deal. So it's going to be interesting to see how he turns out in Philadelphia. It's definitely one of the more interesting trades we've seen for a while. I just think that it's odd that it just appears that it says that Philadelphia says that Gauthier wasn't going to sign in Philadelphia, yet they were still able to get someone with as high esteemed defenseman as Drysdale in the deal.
But he's basically done. I like what Rick says here. NHL is a small window to get good. 25 is the max to make it. I don't know if that's solely the case, Rick. You definitely see guys older than that make it. But I will say this. I think the book is still out on Drysdale too. I mean, he just hasn't played enough games. You know,
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
So I will also say Anaheim did just get Troy Terry back. He has been out like the majority of the year for them. That's huge. Yes, undersized winger. They did sign him to a little bit of a longer-term deal. Zegras is very friendly. It's like a 2-year, $4 million deal. So if they decide to move on from him, they can move him at some point in the next couple of years. So you never know what that forward group is going to look like. It looks like probably Adam Henrique gets traded this year too. I can't imagine he doesn't get traded. He's in the last year of his deal. So look to find him on a Stanley Cup contending team as like a, right now he's playing top line minutes for Anaheim. He's their first line center according to Daily Faceoff. So as of and they do it by day. So I can show you the last 5 game stats too. Henrique's got 1 assist in the last 5 games. The future is Mason McTavish. We all know that. So, all right. Rico. So you got to be buzzing a little bit with the Leafs just locking up Willy. That was cool.
Yeah, man. The Twitter, number 1 trending on Twitter all day today. Everybody talking about it all over the radio. Some people poking fun at Friedman on Twitter because Kipper said it about a week ago.
Yeah, and Saravelli broke it, and he also broke the breakdown he also broke down that of that deal, $65 million of its bonuses. So yeah, Friedman's a talking head anymore. He's not a reporter. So I just think it's laughable. He did come on Kipper's show today and basically gave Nick credit for having it like a week ago. Nick said 11.25 a week ago. So, and I don't think it's not a coincidence that Nick used to play with his dad in what Mr. Perlo Wisdom is wearing for a hat, the Hartford Whalers. They were roommates and stuff. So Nick had a credible source. Yeah. Nick had it the whole way. And I should have just went with it. Nick doesn't want to be an insider anymore. I've talked to him about it, but he's just been in the game too long, and he knows too many people, and he's gonna get shit that goes to him. It's just like Matty Merles. And I'll tell you what, I gotta say this. I think Matt Merle escalated this because he was talking about Chicago getting Nylander and Pettersson, and then all of a sudden Toronto was like, no, we need to get this deal done. Because they're not going to be out of the playoffs. There's no reason for them to trade Nylander. You don't want to trade him. He's having a hell of a year. And, I also liked what he said today on Real Kipper and Bourne. He said, I want to win here. And I want to – so I look, I'm rooting for that to happen. By the way, 2-2 in the Boston-Colorado game.
Yeah, I saw that. Jeez.
And, yeah, that's going to be a good game, man. Boston isn't as good as they've been in the past. And the Avs – the Avs are still a little shaky. I do think, though, the Avs are going to get a little Nikita Kucherov treatment without the goal-scoring prowess when they get Gabe Landeskog back for the playoffs. So we always are thinking that if they can add a second-line center, Adam Henrique wouldn't be a bad ad for them, but we shall see. Dallas putting an ass whooping on, not for a lack of shots by the Wild either, but you'd have liked to seen a better showing from the Wild on that one.
Man,
still 13-20 in the Natty, as I referred to you guys in the DMs in the Natty.
I just wish that I think his name's Dylan Johnson or something, and the running back for Washington. I just wish he was healthy because that guy's probably one of the best running backs in the nation.
Well, and, Washington shoot themselves in the foot. The guy drops a pass. He's wide fucking open, like 30 yards down.
Yeah, there was nobody near him.
And
just turn the wrong way a bit.
He throws, and Penix comes out, throws an interception. Now, great play by but what was he looking at? Like, I wouldn't throw the ball. There was no window anyway. Okay, let's talk about tomorrow's games. We will be live for tomorrow's games. Canucks, by the way, looked really good against the Rangers. But I actually did not think the Rangers played bad. I think Shesterkin had kind of a not great night, but Rangers come out, they score a goal, and then it was all Vancouver after that, 3-1 after the first, and then Rangers get back in with a nasty goal from Panarin, and then I don't know, man. Like the Canucks just go off and score 2 more in that period. So I continue to be impressed with them. They just look good everywhere, and they have skill. Like that Hoglander, he made a move tonight. I was so impressed. Rick says, yeah, the trade deadline day is crazy. Too long of a day for Kipper and Bourne, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Yeah, we'll have the trade deadline. We won't do a show on NHL Nightly. I'll probably be with Hot Take Hockey, but maybe we'll get Perlo or Rico on to get their thoughts if it's any of their teams involved. I imagine we're going to see Edmonton and Toronto involved in those things for sure.
Kipper doesn't want to be an insider because those insiders, they got to be on your phone like 24/7, man. Like Kipper does not want to be like people adding him on Twitter and just all over him and everything. Like, no, dude, just stay away from that shit and do what you're doing.
I wouldn't want to
you don't want people hanging on to every.
He did it for 20 years, dude. He did it for 20 years, and he did a lot of it without social media, which probably makes it a lot harder of a job, to be quite honest with you. So thank you, Hot Take Hockey, for retweeting it, by the way. I appreciate you. Canucks Islanders tomorrow, boys. What do you got? We got, by the way, tomorrow starts. I really apologize. Let me start that over. Let's go with the Seattle Kraken visiting the Buffalo Sabres.
Over.
No favorites in that one.
I just like over. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll let me get the over-unders. I apologize. So I can actually give you guys accurate. The over-under in that is 6 per DraftKings. Again, I know Bet Online, all those. What do you guys have in Ontario? That's the big one that I hear. Bet 360.
Bet 365.
Bet 365. There's FanDuel.
Betway.
Okay, so yeah, DraftKings is owned by FanDuel. So if you're getting a line from DraftKings, you're probably getting the same thing from FanDuel. Again, weird that one company that shouldn't be allowed, but anyway. Okay, so you both like the over. I'd stay away from that game, but I have to say, 6 in a row for the Kraken. They're looking good. I actually like the Kraken to win outright in that game.
I would take the Kraken on a line too. They've had lots of time off, and to get ready for this game, and they need it. So I would take the Kraken as well.
Okay, Yeah, thank you, Perlo. I love that. Okay, so next game is Kings at Bolts. The over-under is 6. There's no favorite in that one either. Kings lost to the Caps. My Caps beat the Kings this weekend. Pretty good win for the Caps to stay relevant for at least another week. Max Pacioretty looks like he's getting his legs back. The Kings did not play a bad game. It was just it's their goaltending, man. I mean, I feel like probably Aubrey Kubel's goal. I would like to see. I bet you Cam Talbot wants that one back. Rick likes the Kings. How about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, this is the famous go to Tampa, then the next night they go to Florida.
Yeah.
Depending on who they're thinking of starting in net tomorrow night, they got to think it's Talbot tomorrow night and probably Dave Rittich. Is he still there?
I know. So yeah, because Copley is having season injury. He had a season.
Rittich is there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that might be correct. Big save, Dave.
But depending on who's starting tomorrow night at Tampa, like if they're going to play Talbot tomorrow in Tampa, I'd probably go with the Kings.
I think they got it. I think they think they have a better shot against.
Gabby's giving us some torts post. I'm assuming Gabby's watching the post. Gabby's giving us some post towards Philly's gyms. He's got Tort says Torts on Cutter Gauthier. We don't want him. He goes, I don't know Cutter from a hole in the wall. Okay, there we go. I love it, Gabby. Thank you, and I hope your sons figure it out. Okay, go ahead, Rico. I apologize. Finish your thoughts on this.
Yeah, if LA starts Talbot, I'll take the Kings. If they start Rittich, I'll take the Lightning. I think they want to win at least one of those two games, but I know Tampa's coming off a loss. LA's lost a sneaky 5 in a row here. So
they're struggling right now. Okay.
What's the over on that game? 6.5, I imagine.
Oh, 6. I have 6. I put it up
over. I just care about the over. I don't know who's going to win.
The over Lightning, 6. Yeah, the Lightning Kings over 6. Okay.
Easy over. Yeah, that's probably my favorite pick of the night right there.
Okay, Perlo's pick of the night. There's only 10 games, so that's nice. It's not a shit ton of games. Next game is Sharks at Maple Leafs. Sharks are plus 350 road dog. Did I get the over-under right? Yeah, the over-under is 6.
Yeah.
I like the over.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. Marner over points because his contract's next.
You know why you're stuttering on this game, though.
Oh, Rick Smith says leave. Oh, sorry, Pearl. I didn't mean to cut you. Rick says.
You know why you're stuttering on this game, right? Because a shit team going into Toronto. Toronto could lose this game. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I know. I almost want to take a flyer on the fucking Sharks plus 350, but literally.
The boys are going out partying with Nylander's contract. Maybe they're going out.
But I can't. I can't. The Sharks have just been abysmal as of late. No. Yeah, if they get Couture back and they get some other guys back in their lineup, maybe I could see it. Rick says Willy gets a hattie. Hey, Daniel, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being in. Love it. I'm guessing you all are on the Leafs and the over. I love the over. 6? It's only 6? I think the Leafs. Well, I guess the Sharks played pretty good. Quinn has them boys playing some pretty good defense. They just have no skill.
He's probably going to be the one playing.
Huh?
They're not going to put who are they going to put in? Samsonov, right? The Leafs? They're going to put Samsonov in, right?
No.
He's already confirmed. Martin Jones is already confirmed.
Oh, Jones is confirmed?
I think they're going to ride Marty Jones like a government mule and not play the hell.
Samsonov's in the minors right now. What am I talking about? It would have to be.
Yeah. They sent him down. I was like, he hasn't come back.
He's in the minors right now. Yeah, Jones playing against his old team at home. Yeah. You got to take the.
By the way, I think he had, before he allowed a goal against San Jose, he had like 99 straight saves or something in Martin Jones. People forget Martin Jones was very good last year for the Seattle Kraken for like 30 games. And then they got healthy at goal and they didn't play. I think Marty Jones is another one of those guys too. He's an old school goalie that benefits from playing all the time. I just think there are some guys that need to play every day, or if they come in and sub, they don't have their A game. And it just makes sense, you know. I mean, there's some guys that can do it, some guys that can't. Definitely this wild they get shut out.
How bad he was in San Jose then, because he played a crap load too. But anyways, yeah, I gotta take the Leafs -1.5. I don't know what that pays, but if they don't get it, well, that's
it's -3 of -455 for the Leafs as the favorite.
Oh God.
Yeah, I would just stay away from that game. I would take the over at 6. It feels a little low, but we'll see. I think that does say a lot about San Jose's ability to play defense.
They've been riding. Maybe they put Kakinen in tomorrow, and you can take team total over 4.5.
Oh, it'd be Blackwood.
Yeah. Okay.
When's the last time they played Kakinen? It's been a while, though. So I don't know.
Probably because he's god awful.
Yeah.
So,
well, for sure.
He's not been good. Canucks. I love this one. Canucks are a +100. I'm sorry. So so DraftKings gave me Canucks as a +110. I apologize, guys. That's wrong. Either way, Canucks are a +110 road dog at the Islanders, which tells you how good the Islanders have been playing lately. And the over-under is 6. I like the Canucks all day in this. Oh, good God.
I don't like it. They're on a back-to-back. So
yeah, but still, the Islanders are coming off their road trip as well, too. This is their first game back home.
Yeah.
Thing is, Canucks are first in the league in goals for. And then the Islanders are still bottom third in the league in goals allowed. The other thing, Islanders got a good power play. They get a lot of their goals on the power play, and Vancouver's penalty kill sucks, too. So just stay out of the box. I do like Vancouver in this game, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers tonight, they only took 2 penalties. The Rangers did not take a single penalty, which made that game even more evident. The Canucks are good 5-on-5.
Canucks are on a business trip right now.
Huh?
Canucks are on a business trip right now. They're trying to get as many points on this long road trip as they can. They're banking points right now.
I would, if you could give me a future right now on the Canucks playing the Winnipeg Jets in the Western Conference Finals, I would take it, because those two are the 2 best teams in the West right now, and it's not even questioning. And I wouldn't be. It would be nice to see those 2. I think it would be good. It may not be great for the NHL as a whole, but it sure as hell will be. But look, I still ain't counting out Vegas either. But yeah, I like the over in this game easy, and I would take the Canucks at +110 because it's easy money. Perla, where are you at that?
I got to think about that, because he just reminded me that Islanders are coming off a road trip there, so they're going to have tired legs. Vancouver's probably going to be not pushing it in the first period. You said it was a 6?
Yeah,
I would
that's low.
I'll take draw. I'll take draw first period.
Okay.
That'll be about +170. I don't think anybody takes over this game in the first period. So
okay,
that would be my best bet. And maybe the Islanders fans will get them rolling. I probably would lean the Islanders overall in the game, but I like to draw first period. That's what I like.
Okay, Rick had a question. He asked about the Avs player getting the shoulder on the head of Bedard. I believe it was the Devils player. It was Brendan Smith. It was a clean hit, man, and I honestly think it was kind of on Bedard a little bit there. He wasn't really looking, and he kind of was going right up the middle. He's going to have to learn that this is the NHL. It's a big boy league, and you can't just go skating right up the middle as fast as you want.
Absolutely. Totally.
So,
and so does
it sucks ass, but look, Jeremy Roenick, by the way, should be in the Hall of Fame. Played with a broken jaw, played with one. Now, I think the only reason they wouldn't have Bedard do it now is guy's not done growing, man. So, could be dangerous if he could end his career. You don't want to risk it. This guy's very new in his career. Jeremy Roenick broke his jaw when he played for the Flyers. It was late in his career. So, and you look at his jaw now, too, you could tell he didn't look his jaw wasn't as pronounced. So, Rico, you got your 2 cents on the Canucks Isles, right? I felt like you had.
Yeah, I like the Canucks there. They're banking points on this road trip.
Okay, next game is Ducks plus 195 Road Dogs at Preds. And that over under is 6.5. Ooh, I like the under in that.
I kind of, that's what I thought at first too, is I kind of like the under, but then I like the draw too, because even though the Ducks have been losing, they haven't been giving up many goals in their losses. Like apart from that, I think 7-2 lost to Edmonton, the Ducks have been losing these low scoring kind of games. So I know their goalies get peppered and stuff too, but I could see maybe a draw in this game. I think they might be able to hold off Nashville after the trade happens and stuff, kind of shakes the team up, maybe gives them a little bit of life. Maybe. But I like the draw in that game.
How about Philip Forsberg having 21 goals this year, like having a really good year? Go ahead, Perlo.
I think Nashville just lost to Dallas. Did they not? Or did they beat Dallas? And
I don't know what their last four is. Sorry.
No,
Colorado just went up 3-2, by the way. Colorado just went up 3-2.
They beat Dallas 4-3.
They beat Dallas 4-3. And then they're coming home and they're playing Anaheim. I just can't trust Anaheim right now. And I think this Nashville, I think any team that's desperate will beat Anaheim pretty clean. They shouldn't be tired at all. They're coming home. I don't like this Anaheim team.
Hey, Andrew.
So I'm going to take Nashville in regulation.
Anaheim did just get Troy Terry back. He played his first game last game. So yeah, that's a big boon. I mean, for them. Michigan scored a touchdown. They're up 27-13 now, and there's 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. So
yeah, I'm taking Nashville in regulation. I just don't like this Anaheim team. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait till they get Cutter Gauthier, Perlo.
Yeah, once they get Cutter Gauthier, they'll be fine.
I mean, I kind of hate it for the kid because he's going to be vilified the rest of his career, especially in Philadelphia. I mean, and Philly fans don't have a leg to stand on, in my opinion, because they got Eric Lindros because he demanded a trade. So anyway.
Hey, good point, man. Good point.
I'm just saying, you got Lindros because he didn't want to play in Quebec. So, and
that's a good point.
The thing I'm concerned about, though, is like if Gauthier really wanted out of Philly, Philly didn't have all that much leverage in the deal.
Let's hold on for a minute. He never signed with them. And I wanted to say this. Rico mentioned it about signing with a guy before we go into the next game, which is Panthers Blues. The over-under is 6. The Blues are a 145 home dog. All day I'm taking the Panthers in this one. But let me just say this. There are a lot of college players that get drafted to play in college, which Cutter Gauthier is doing, that don't sign with their NHL teams. How about Adam Fox? Adam Fox was traded to 2 NHL teams and never signed with them. He was drafted by Calgary. Calgary traded him to freaking Carolina, and they got Lindholm in the deal, I think, or something. And he never played with Carolina. He signed with the Rangers. And that's their right. If you go to college and you get drafted and you play 4 years and it's 3 years after your draft year, if you don't sign with your team, this happens all the fucking time. Players don't sign with their draft team all the fucking time. So I'm not going to sit here and trash Cutter Gauthier when he could have been the MVP of the fucking World Juniors. Team USA, gold fucking medal team. Let's see what happens. Now, next year, he may be playing with the Ducks, but I want to see Boston College should be up for the national championship there, so it's going to be real interesting.
But here's the difference, though. Fox told Calgary right from the beginning he was going to be.
Sounds like Gauthier did too, actually. Pretty close to it, other than the draft day.
He told him right from the beginning he was going to be a Ranger, and that was the only team.
We're also asking 18-year-old kids to make decisions that impact the rest of their lives.
And Carolina knew he said that. They tried to convince him, but they couldn't. He was going to be a Ranger the whole time. Fox said that the whole time. I don't know what Gauthier's reasons are, but what really kind of concerns me more than anything is that basically Anaheim had no leverage. So why would you give Drysdale?
Well, here's the thing. They were dealing with 18 to 20 other.
Philly had no leverage. So why would they give Drysdale? That makes me worry about what's going on with Drysdale.
Well, he's not been healthy. He's clearly not been healthy. And like I said,
they must not think he's ever going to be healthy or something.
But Perlo, I also mentioned they have Zellweger and Mintyukov, who Mintyukov is playing very, very well for them.
I realize that, but still, you really don't have to give up.
He felt like you
don't have to give up anything to get Gauthier. You don't have to give up anything.
Well, apparently you have to give up Drysdale in the second round pick because that's what happened. All right, we're moving on to the next game.
And I was kind of talking about myself too. If I ever made the NHL, I'd be happy to play for any team. I know these kids have their choice to play wherever sometimes. I was just thinking on personal experience. I'm like, if I made the NHL, I don't want to play for this team. I wouldn't want any animosity. I'd be like, I'm making the NHL. I'm happy. I'll play for this team, whatever, and I'll play my way out of there. But
why is Anaheim so not high on Drysdale? I want to know that because they really didn't have to give up.
Maybe it's that the Flyers really liked Drysdale and wanted him in the deal because, as I pointed out earlier tonight, I know you were here for it. Frank Zaravelli said they were dealing with 18 to 20 teams. So whether you fucking think Gauthier is worth a fucking nickel, there were at least 20 other NHL teams that fucking
So in other words, Gauthier was like, I'll play with 18 or 20 teams, but I'm not playing for Philly. Wow.
Apparently he didn't want to go to Philly. And look, you know what? All he's got to do as a guy who plays in college is say, I'm not coming out. He could have just stayed in fucking college. And now at NIL, probably isn't making that bad of money. So
I would like to know why he didn't want to play in Philly, though. That'd be pretty interesting to know why he didn't want to play there.
But Rico, why did he not want to play in Philly is what I want to know. You brought up Fox. Fox was playing with the Rangers. And
I've used him as an example. How many college free agents don't sign with the team they're drafted? I bet you the percentage is way higher.
But most of those college free agents have a team they want to play for. He was willing to play for anybody pretty much, but Philly. Why?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He didn't want to go there. He grew up a Penguins fan. That's
what I brought up.
It could be something as little as that.
I'm serious, man. If you grow up a Penguins fan and you get drafted by the Flyers, it is kind of like, meh. I don't know. I'll tell you right now, I probably wouldn't want to be on the Penguins. Just saying.
It could very well be his parents. It could be his parents. You never know. It could be somebody.
I don't know what his home situation is, where he's from. I didn't look up any of that stuff.
Maybe he truly just has that much of a hate for Philly. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's it.
But these are things that Philly should have known before the draft, too, though. Like a Fantilli and Bedard, or Fantilli and Leo Carlson. Fantilli didn't want to go to Anaheim, so they dropped and he went to Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fantilli basically told Anaheim in the draft interview he wasn't interested in going there.
Yeah, so he should have went.
That wasn't talked about at all. And he wanted to go to Columbus. So,
I think Anaheim got the better player. So we'll see if that.
Anaheim did get the better, but look, hey. Fantilli's a fantastic player, by the way. He's having a good
year. I just like Carlson's overall game better. That's all.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm so excited for Carlson. I'm with you. And hey, sometimes it works out for both teams. Isn't that great? All three of them you can't miss. And we'll see. Will Smith looks like a player too. So this is good. I think this draft is going to go down as one of the best drafts ever this last year. So we'll see.
So too, but. Yeah.
Let's go to the next game. Blues. I'm going to guess you both are taking the Panthers. The Panthers. The over under is 6.5. Panthers at Blues.
Against two? Sorry, I got it.
Panthers at Blues. I have it up on the screen, dude.
Panthers at Blues. Okay.
Over under 6. Sorry, over under 6.
I don't think that's as straight as narrow, straight as an arrow as you think, because they've had. It could be a little down game, but I like the over. I like the over
and I like the Panthers. But yes, Rico. Rico, who do you like? Did we lose Rico?
Was he frozen?
Rico, did you freeze? Oh, we did. We lost Rico. He'll come back.
Oh, occupancy is in here. Shit, Joe. Gosh, I haven't been paying attention to the chat. Who are you saying under occupancy?
The chat. I didn't see under.
He said under something, but I don't know if he's still in the chat or not. If you're in the chat, what under were you talking about occupancy? Occupancy is a great capper. I follow him.
I don't see occupancy under 6, but I don't know. He was talking about the Panthers. He likes the under.
For Panthers Blues.
Rico, man.
Under. Yep.
Here, I'm gonna take.
Well, it makes sense because the Panthers are one of the best shot suppression teams in the league. They're probably a little tired here. They may just try to drag St. Louis down. Actually, occupancy probably has a good point there.
Blues have gone under 4 of the last times from occupancy. Oh, okay. I like the under. Good. I'll take the under.
Yeah. And Florida's an underrated defensive team. So.
I think this new coach is doing a bang up job for them too, man. I've been.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so heavy on the Panthers here. They've had a long road trip and it's been successful. This is
8-4 ass whooping of the Avalanche. Woo.
This is an easy letdown game for them. I could see the Blues winning this game, actually. I would probably bet the Blues before I bet Panthers, probably, especially with the price.
Okay,
but
we're still on Blues Panthers. Rico, occupancy pointed out Blues have gone under 4 of the last 5 games. Who do you like in that game? Blues Panthers.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to occupancy. Who did you need for your 4th goal? He had Seguin. He had four goal props, and he hit 3 out of the 4. I think he had Frederick for his 4th one. I wonder if he's able to hit that.
I don't think Frederick. That game's still going though. So that's good for him. There's a lot left in that game. That game is So yeah, just to revisit, that game is just the second ended, so we're in the 3rd there. It's 3-2. I don't know if Frederick scored. Frederick's been on a tear. By the way, Bruins should look to move DeBrusk. I think they could probably. Frederick does not have a goal tonight. Their goal scorers are Beecher and Marchand. Marchand's having such a great year.
I got a good out here. I got a phone call.
Yeah, I don't mind the Blues. I don't mind the Blues in that game. St. Louis won a couple in a row. They're kind of sneaky team. They could kind of beat anybody or lose to anybody, it seems like, St. Louis. So I wouldn't pay that price with Florida. If you're going to do anything, maybe take a little blue shot there. I wouldn't mind.
Okay. Perlo had to leave, I think. I didn't garner what he
got a phone call. He's just got to step out for a sec.
Okay. Was he using his phone for the thing? Because his camera's been so good.
Maybe.
Blue Jackets at Jets. Blue Jackets are a plus 210 road dog. I've actually been pretty impressed with how about Kyle Connor still leading the Jets in goals, and he's been out. He's going to be out for another couple months. The over under in that is
oh shit! Washington just got picked off. Game over.
Over under, yeah. I'm trying to see it. Over under is 6.5. I got over under 6.5, Andrew. It's 6.5. That's the one I'm getting. If you guys are getting a 6, I definitely take over the 6 big time. I have Jackets. I misspelled Jackets. Sorry about that. Jackets at. I don't know. The Jets have played really well. I just don't see them laying an egg at home against the Blue Jackets. I would probably take the over on this one though, because the Jackets do have some.
This is a Jets' first game back home, I think, too.
I'm going out in.
I think this is a Jets' first game back home.
Sorry, bud. I just got a phone.
You're fine. You're fine. You take the call, man. The life happens. Not a problem at all. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
This is a sneaky one. I think Columbus might be able to pull off a road win here. Winnipeg's coming off a road trip. They've won a few in a row. They better come to play. Maybe draw or Columbus. Maybe Columbus.
Take you likes the under. Under for Andrew too, but it's 6.5. Andrew.
It's going to be Brossoit. It's going to be Brossoit in that. So I'm sure of it. It's going to be Brossoit in that. I'm positive.
Okay.
If it's Brossoit in that, yeah. Jets are rolling though, right? It
I
doesn't
mean, the
seem
Jets
like
have lost 9 games in regulation. I just cannot bet against this team right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even this is a bad spot for the Jets, but
It's
I
gonna,
would maybe
it's
stay
gonna be
away from
Hellebuck though. Hellebuck's gonna play.
is he? Is
Oh,
he
yeah.
gonna play? When's the last time
Yeah.
Brossoit played?
Probably on the back-to-back against. He probably played the Sharks on Thursday or the Ducks on Friday. I think played the Sharks or the Ducks on Friday night.
Okay, I'm gonna say Columbus Blue Jackets first period money line. I think the Jets could be a little shaky in the first period, but I don't trust the Jackets to win the whole game. And the Jackets are like coming off a terrible home trip, and they get to go home. They get to get on the road now, so they're feeling loose.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So,
mind
I'll
taking the
give it-
Jackets at plus 210, like $5 or something. But I got you.
Yeah, first period maybe. That's
Yeah.
but I
And
think
the Jackets
win
have been able to score this year, honestly. And Marchenko has how many does he have for them? 13 goals. And
Yeah, that Russian line's really good. Yeah.
Okay, Oilers at Blackhawks. This is over under 6.5. I probably the only thing Oilers have won 7 in a row. They are finally in a playoff spot. They're in the final wild card. They had to win 7 in a row to get into the wild card, though. So they better not lose 6 in a row because the teams in front of them are doing pretty good. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, geez. The Blackhawks 31st in goals allowed. The Oilers 3rd in goals for.
No Bedard. No reason to watch.
Yeah, I mean, is Foligno even back? I think he got
No,
hurt in
he's
that
out
fight
too,
sticking up.
He's got a broken finger.
Yeah, he got hurt in that fight sticking up for Bedard. Like, what karma, man? Like, poor
Chicago had their big hurrah because they beat Calgary in that emotional "let's do it for Bedard" game, and then Edmonton comes in here and just ruins them. My favorite bet here would be Edmonton Oilers first period over 1.5. I think we can get.
I'll take the over in this.
Probably the over too. Team total over for Edmonton. I don't know. Maybe it's a letdown spot for Edmonton. Maybe they get lazy because they're playing against. But
you know who to take an over in points for is Zach Hyman. That guy feasts on bad teams. When it comes to Oilers playing against a competitive matchup, Hyman kind of disappears a little bit off the score sheet, but he pats the stats against bad teams.
Oh yeah, I agree. Hyman over 1.5 points. Yeah, that's a good one. That's basically because Hyman doesn't try any less against bad teams than he does against good teams. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. That might be my favorite play. Hyman over 1.5 points. I think he could get tons of points there.
Yeah, he's going to go balls out no matter who he plays against for sure.
Yeah. So I'm certainly not taking Chicago. That's for sure. I'm not. No.
Okay, Bruins at Yotes, plus 136. Yotes are a home dog. Bruins are on a back-to-back. Let's see how this Avs game shapes out. I kind of like the Yotes at plus 136.
No.
Rico, what do you think?
I think maybe another draw game. This one might be close. I mean, I love Arizona at home, but they're starting to lose some games here. They're starting to fall back. It almost feels like they're falling back to their means a little bit. So I know they've started out the year hot at the mullet and stuff, but they've been on a little bit of a dipsy streak. And after giving up a bunch of goals at home their last couple of games, I'm thinking Boston might try to get their shit together on the road here. If they don't pull this one out against Colorado, I mean, they're going in Arizona and probably going to be a 5-1, 5-2 game tomorrow, I think. I can't take Arizona in that spot.
Yeah, Perla, what are you thinking? I'd stay away from that one, actually. Perla, what do you
I'm
think?
just going to stick with my original lean that Arizona was going to have a decent first half and just fall apart in the second half. Especially if Boston loses tonight. They're going to ruin them tomorrow. That defense, the fact that Turney actually got what he did out of the first half of this team is really impressive. This team should not be winning as much as they are. Their defense is green. They're up. Their forwards are green. the second half, these guys are going to be too beat up to do much.
If you're an Arizona fan, don't you want them to be in the lottery and get a good high pick?
No,
just so they can add some defense. I mean, there's going to be a high defense prospect. They can get the top. They're not going to be in the top 5 probably, but I definitely wouldn't mind it if I'm an Arizona fan. It's not going to hurt them.
I think they will be in the top 5, actually. I think the second half is going to be really bad for Arizona.
You think they'll be in the top 5? I disagree.
I think they're going to lose a crap load of games, and you're seeing it now. They're getting destroyed almost.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
I got a question for you. That player on the U.S., that Howard kid that had that white blazer with the U.S. buckle, is that who drafted him? Was Tampa?
Yeah, Tampa. Yeah, 30th overall.
That U.S. kid, that's oh my god.
That kid is, I don't
pretty
know.
Good.
Tampa got him at 30.
I don't know what that kid's going to turn into. He's very.
What about Gabe Perreault for the Rangers at 23?
I knew he was good, but this Howard kid, man, all of a sudden he had that white blazer, he had the U.S. buckle, he had his hair going. I'm like, who the hell is this kid? All of a sudden in the tournament, I'm like, what the hell? Tampa got him?
It's the reason why he got drafted so low is he's very different. He's very like almost like PK Subban. You know,
Pearl, and I know if they had the draft like middle of the season, right after the World Juniors, a lot of these guys would go way higher than they go. Because they just, even the scouts don't know all these guys. And also you got another year. I mean, since that kid was drafted, you've got almost a year since then. So it's like it's just a fucking crapshoot. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, I know, but he's just a very extravagant dude.
And he stood out. He stood out on the ice. Like he didn't rely on any other players to make plays for him.
He's a guy like the guy that comes to mind is PK Subban. He's very PK Subban like as far as that goes.
Is he a defenseman or a forward?
He's a forward, but I'm talking about PK Subban was very
flamboyant with off the ice. He's cocky and arrogant, which I think is good.
That kind of guy like that. Yeah.
Okay, the final game of the night is Senators at, I thought I typed it, Flames.
Calgary.
Over under 6.5. Sens are a +1. I would stay away from this one. Both these teams, I don't know. The Flames are under 500 now. They lost to Chicago, who had nobody. If that game doesn't tell Craig Conroy it's time to start trading players, start shopping Hannafins. Well, if they're going to re-sign him, then it sounds like they might re-sign him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm Calgary, I just go in rebuild mode, man.
Yeah, and I hope that Brad Treliving, after a minus of signing Huberdeau, he has a plus in signing Nylander. So, I mean, Calgary, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a rock and a hard place. I thought he got what he got back for Tkachuk was decent, but, you know.
I didn't. Well, I mean, it looked like it on paper, but, you know, how much of a Huberdeau fan I am, so.
There's just no Barkov in Calgary. If Barkov would have packed his bags and went with him, he probably would have been all right.
Yeah, but,
well, that's the indicator why I think both of them had career years. You know, like Tkachuk had a career year.
Didn't play with Barkov though. He played on the second line and Barkov on the first.
No, he played with Barkov all last year, man, and he even talks about it in interviews how great a player he is and how much more space because of him and stuff.
When he played with him, but he played a lot on the second line last year, not just on the first.
Tkachuk played with Nick Cousins, and wasn't it Verhaeghe?
Yeah,
I thought he was with Barkov a good part of it, and there's an interview of him talking about Barkov.
When he played with him, but he didn't play with him all that as much as people think.
Okay, I don't know why we're talking about Tkachuk and Barkov. Flames at Sens.
We're talking about Flames in Ottawa. That's why. So Flames and Ottawa. I mean, this is really tough. Both of these teams are sucking hard.
Third game in 4 nights for Calgary.
I would just stay away from this.
Watch out. I like the Senators in that game.
+114 at the Sens. That does make sense.
This is the 4th game in 6 nights for Calgary, and they couldn't even beat Chicago on 3 games in 4 nights, and they're coming home now. So yeah, I'll take Ottawa just because that was such a pathetic loss, and I don't have any faith that Calgary has enough pride in themselves to get up in even this game. So yeah, I'll do that.
Ottawa's going to move. Ottawa's going to start moving some players. You watch. They're going to be the next team that makes a trade, I think. And these guys are going to start playing like it. Guys that want out of there.
Here's the thing. Calgary's coming home for one game against Ottawa. And then they got to fly all the way to Arizona after this. So I think they're just being whiny bees. I think Ottawa wins this game all day. I'll take Ottawa puck line. I'll take Ottawa to win this.
Yeah, plus 114 Sens is a nice number. The sad thing is the Sens are a more talented team, in my opinion, but they just, I don't know what the hell, man. They just can't.
I think in this one, they have more heart than Calgary all day. I'll take Ottawa.
So this is the lines for Florida this year. The top three. I'll go to the fourth. Rodriguez and Reinhardt are playing with Barkov and Verhaeghe, Bennett, and Kachuk are the second line. Luciano, Lundell, Lundberg, Gadjevich, Stenlin, Lockwood. There you go. That's this year. I don't know what. I know he talked like vehemently about how great Barkov is and one of the best players and stuff. And I know Kachuk's having a little bit of a down year this year. So
if you put Kachuk and Barkov on the same line, you've got the best shutdown forward line in the league. Like Kachuk is elite defensively, and so is Barkov.
I mean, he started off not scoring a lot of goals, and he has 8 goals, 26 assists this year already in Kachuk. Barkov having another great year, 11 goals, 32 assists, man. 25 block shots for Barkov, 15 for Kachuk. 39 block shots for – how about Sam Reinhart the year he's having? Holy shit. He's having such a –
yeah, there's another UFA.
He's going to get paid. But he could take 9 in Florida and not –
absolutely. He isn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, why would you leave that team? You're stupid if you do. So, by the way, Michigan won the national championship 34-13 final score.
I'm leaning Florida to win it all this year.
I think they're back in the – I said the Leafs in the conference finals the other day, but the Leafs are going to
play each other in the first round.
The Leafs are done.
Florida will ruin Toronto.
Well, but look, Florida and here's how you look at it. Okay, I give the forward edge all day to the Leafs. Okay, but defense, I kind of like what I think I like what Florida has better. And goaltending, it's not even close. So
defense from the forward group, Florida absolutely destroys Toronto. Destroys them. Like they got top 9 best two-way team in the league besides maybe Winnipeg. Winnipeg and Florida.
Winnipeg and Florida would be an awesome final, by the way. How interesting would that be? Paul Maurice plays his old team. Oh, my God. What a great storyline.
I'll take Winnipeg, Florida final. I'm saying it right now. Winnipeg, Florida final.
Yeah, I love Barkov, KQ. He's a great player. He definitely is the engine that stirs the drink.
He's definitely got the Selke this year. Yeah. No doubt about that.
He should. Has he won it? He has won it one year, has he not?
Yeah, he should win it almost every year. If it wasn't for Bergeron.
Well, I mean, Bergeron.
If it wasn't for Bergeron.
They could name the damn thing after. I actually thought if you looked at defensive numbers, it wasn't Barkov he probably should have had won it last year, and didn't Bergeron win it again? So
out of all of the teams that people are saying are going to win the cup, which one of those teams do you think is not going to win the cup? Which one of those top contenders?
Well, Edmonton.
The Rangers.
So you think Rangers, Perlo? No cup?
I think the Rangers could, man. I think they could win it.
Okay, this is perfect. So if the Rangers win the cup, Perlo's got to get a Rangers tattoo somewhere on him. If Edmonton wins the cup, Beard's getting an Edmonton tattoo.
I'm not getting a tattoo, bro. I went 25 years in the military without a tattoo. I'm not.
I don't hate the Rangers, but
I'm definitely not getting an Oilers tattoo.
Yeah, you got to get the Oilers tattoo. The one thing I got to say, I would have said
25 years without a tattoo in the military.
No tattoos. Me neither, dude.
I can't do it, man.
I would have said Edmonton a month ago, but this Knobloch dude has him playing a 1-3-1. No coach has been able to do that with these guys.
We'll see how it goes.
Not a single coach. And now they're playing a 1-3-1.
They've been playing a bunch of dog shit teams too, so we'll see.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a little tempted now that they actually have bought into a 1-3-1.
Well, they're in the playoffs as of today, so we'll see.
Perlo.
We'll see.
Dude,
I just think in a 7-game series with like real defense and real goaltending, it's going to be interesting to see because I don't trust Edmonton's defense and I don't trust their goaltending. Now, that being said, do they have the two best forwards alive in the NHL? It's up for debate. I don't think there's a better player in the last 50 years than McDavid as far as what he could do on the ice,
Sure.
but we'll see.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
So
we'll see. I don't know. This team's playing a 1-3-1 now, and they're playing it very, very fast. I'm a little bit more tempted with the Oilers now, but I'm cautious.
Their forward depth is.
Team, I don't think they're Oilers hater for a long time. At the same time, but
I don't think there's a team I would take. Their forward depth is very good. I mean, maybe you want to swap out one or two guys if you could for
you got
a little
Fogle and McLeod is starting to score now.
Yeah, but why didn't it work with Woodcroft in Edmonton, and why is it working now?
Some reason Knobloch was able to, for some reason, I think he was able to sell a 1-3-1 with pace, because normally like Tippett, normally a 1-3-1 doesn't have a lot of pace to it. You're playing more of a slower game, and then you have pace when you get possession, and then you slow down again. But Knobloch seems to have them playing a 1-3-1 with pace, and I'm interested. I don't think I've ever seen this before. So
the Flames have won a Stanley Cup in 1989.
They might actually have found a guy. It wasn't just because it was McDavid's friend or maybe McDavid said, "Look, this guy used to play like this. I want to play like this." And maybe McDavid.
I don't think McDavid had anything to do with the decision.
Maybe not. Maybe they just knew that this guy had something.
And I think he kind of made it clear because he said basically in the interview, he found out like everybody else did on his phone. He didn't even know. So they didn't even consult him, even though. Oh, by the way, Boston just tied it up 3-3. 14 minutes left of the third.
No way.
I want to watch that game.
At least I got the over anyways.
I'm going to end the show. We'll talk about Edmonton tomorrow after they. We'll talk about Edmonton tomorrow after they dollywop the fucking Blackhawks. So we appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you so much.
Sharks.
Final thoughts are none tonight because I want to eat some dinner. I know you had to go to. All right, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Happy Nylander Day.
Yeah, happy Nylander Day and happy Gauthier for Drysdale trade day. Yay!